Well, hello there, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got a new pick card reading. This one is all going to be about channeled messages from your higher self. This reading is all going to be about connecting with our higher selves. Now, I've been feeling something in the collective. As usual, if you're looking at this video further in the future, the very fact you're here means that it's still relevant for you. But as I'm recording this video in the collective, there's definitely an energy about, it feels like frustration, being done with not being ourselves, just having had enough of pretending. And so I feel that these messages from our higher selves are definitely going to be going in this direction. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, that's something that you would want to know more about, get yourself comfortable, make yourself at home, and let's enjoy this reading together. Right before we dive into it, just a reminder that if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. It would support me tremendously. And then you don't miss out when your boy posts new videos like so. That being said, let's get into it right now. Okay, there we go. Today we have 3 groups in front of us, 3 groups to be choosing from. I'm going to be asking you to tune into your intuition so as to feel into which pile you feel the most drawn to, knowing that this pile is going to be the one which holds the messages you're meant to be hearing at this moment. No worries if you feel drawn to more than one pile, may simply mean that there are more messages for you to hear in more than just one pile. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest with any reading, any reader. That being said, for the piles, I'm going to go over the crystals. For pile number 1 here, we have this piece of Chalcopyrite. If we can have the focus, maybe one day. Close enough. For pile number 2, we have this piece of Lapis Lazuli. And for pile number 3, it's this Labradorite heart. Right here. Okay, so yeah, yet again, pause the video if you need more time, take your time to choose the pile you feel the most drawn to. When that is done, you can fast forward directly to the timestamps provided down below either in the description box or the pinned comment, where you will be able to fast forward directly to your reading. And I'm gonna be seeing you there. Pile number 1, you're up. Hey there, how are you doing? I hope you're comfy, I hope you're ready, I hope you're curious about this message. If you chose this gorgeous piece of Chalcopyrite, that's going to be your reading. So let's not waste any more time, let's get right into it. Okay, I was planning on not keeping these cards, just for the sake of representation, but you know what, we're going to be keeping it actually. I'm going to be putting it to the side, don't cast pride, but I think it's going to come in, it's going to be relevant much later. So, pile number 1, I'm so excited for this reading, for we have a few oracle decks which popped out for this reading that I was not expecting at all. So yeah, very curious to see what's gonna be the taste of the reading today. Definitely feeling big time, where I was a little bit picking up on the introduction, as in, yeah, we're connecting with our higher selves, we're connecting with our higher version, not version, but higher part of us. And there's definitely much to talk about when it comes to being done pretending not being truthful, being done pretending to be someone we're not, being done with trying to please the neighborhood. These kind of themes seem to be very recurrent here, so very curious to know what we're gonna get. And I'm definitely feeling many tarot cards today. We're gonna see where it's gonna go. This one, and that's gonna be it for now. Okay. So, as for the cards, we got the Death card, the 2 of Cups, the 9 of Wands, as well as the 8 of Swords. Okay, the Empress and the Lovers. Let me take a bit of water. Let's get right into it. Okay, so Death and Two of Cups, I like that. It definitely just makes me feel exactly what I was talking about. Death is rebirth, it's transformation, it's yeah, putting an end to the old, renewal. And here it's stepping into a new version of ourselves. It's here, my gaze is definitely like going towards the veil which is being held, unveiling who we are, and it's going through, it appears as a death because it puts an end to who we used to identify with. There's discontinuity, there is a line, there is a chain that is broken, there is something that is non-linear here. There is something which is non-linear with your path, with the way you are evolving, and that is the most beautiful thing about it. Think quantum leaping for those to whom it rings a bell. It's, yeah, definitely there is an evolution which is non-linear here. There is a total there is a breakage there. No, there is like, there is a huge difference between who you used to be and who you're and this new version of you that you're stepping into right now, and it's one which is much more aligned with yourself. The Two of Cups, definitely duality, relationships, but here it starts with you. It's just you recognizing yourself. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, that's me. It's like a fish looking in a mirror. It's recognizing oneself and accepting it. In this case, accepting yourself for who you are and not pretending to be someone that you're not. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of relationships, but I feel that your relationships are up for a big change, a massive change, and there may be fear here, definitely, about losing people around you, which is understandable. Feeling like you may be losing people because you are going to start showing them who you actually are and being afraid that they may not accept that. But how could you hope to be happy if you're only surrounding yourself with people who don't know who you are? You know? So definitely lots of, I mean, this card is definitely inspiring me a profound sense of fulfillment when it comes to our relationships. Feeling genuinely fulfilled through our relationships at the cost of putting an end to those which are not fulfilling. Putting an end to those which are not meant to be here anymore, those who were built on a version of yourself that you no longer are. But yeah, it's definitely putting up to the surface, showing, magnifying the fear of perhaps losing people. Then we got the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Here we get a much more tense energy. Yeah, it feels stressful, it feels tense, it feels like a situation where we don't feel powerful in, a situation we feel trapped in, a very tense and stressful situation where it feels we have not really got a choice. And we may be very defensive in this survival kind of mentality. Yeah, there's also this feeling of, I'm gonna do this, and that's gonna be the last thing I need in order to, I don't know, be happy. And then we do that, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's a bigger mountain behind it. Then I'm gonna be climbing that other mountain, and I'm sure that once I reach the top, everything will be fine. And it's just, oh no, wait, life goes on. It feels that's what we're stepping out of here. This situation where we feel that we have to pretend out of survival. For some of us, we have to pretend to be this version of us that we may not be. It feels also like pretending to be someone that we're not, and that is creating a lot of stress and distress internally, because that persona we're putting up, that person that we're pretending to be for the sake of pleasing someone else, definitely that's coming through. That person we're trying to pretend to be is not very aligned with our heart, with our heart's desires. It also feels kind of mental here, in the sense of disconnected from the heart. Yeah, it's pretending to be someone that we're not for the sake of pleasing someone or some people around us, and that makes us feel safer. That's what I'm getting here. Except this, we're just coming at a point where it's like, okay, you're gonna have to choose between your happiness and your very vague sense of supposed safety, because the two cannot coexist. You cannot do these things hoping to feel somewhat safe and at the same time be happy. You're gonna have to honor yourself at this point, and that's the kind of transformation which is currently that you're currently undergoing, I feel. So it's interesting, but yeah, definitely a lot of stress being left behind, so that's good. And I feel that a lot of this stress is about trying to please people whom standards do not reflect who we are in the slightest. It's trying to please people who we feel, because they might, but not necessarily, but we feel that they're expecting us to be a certain way that we will never be, because that's just not who we are. And that in turn is, yeah, creating this very... Oh, I had the word vicious in mind, vicious cycle. It feels something like we're stuck in, because if we break free of it, we feel like we're going to be losing everybody. But guess what? You might just about find yourself doing that. So yet again, yeah, fears about losing people. But I'm definitely hearing from your higher self, you know deep down that these people whom you feel like you're walking on eggshells around, whom you feel like you have to be someone that you're not around, they're anyways not the people that you want in your life. The people you want to be around are people who love you for who you are. People that you don't have to hide anything. How can you appreciate who you are if you're hiding it from yourself as well, you know? It's like, it feels very bizarre, very messed up in a sense. Us trying to abide to a logic which is not logical. Us trying to do something, the intention was good originally. There's definitely the sense of doing this so as to feel safer, because perhaps back then that was the best action to do, but right now it feels quite inefficient. Times have changed, you're no longer the same person, and now it's just, yeah, like something left pending that needs attention. It's like the fact that you're done with it is a good thing, because it's time to change, it's time to put an end to it. And that's why we get these two cards, the Empress, the Lovers. That which we're stepping into is a much more empowered, much more creative space. An empowered creative space, a space where we feel like we can simply be. You know? A space where we simply are. A space where we simply enjoy our own presence, where we enjoy the presence of the people around. We don't have to do anything to justify of anything. It's a place where it feels like there's much more space, there is much more room for energy to flow, emotions to run freely, and creativity to be expressed. And with the Lovers, there's a lot more room for love to happen. Within yourself, with other people, but it starts with falling in love with yourself, by respecting yourself, treating yourself lovingly, not expecting yourself to be someone that you're not. It starts this way. I'm also feeling that the thing I'm picking up, but it's very well rated, this card, Downcast Pride, as in, I feel that the reason to why it has grown, that there's a lot of anger coming through here, is also because there's a lot of internal anger. Yeah, you may be mad at the people around you because you may hold them accountable for what you are doing with your life. Okay, sure. But here we all know that this anger is very internal and turned towards self, as in we're angry at ourselves because we're not honoring who we are. We're not respecting who we are. We're not, we're just making ourselves smaller for someone else. And that gets us mad. We're getting mad at the part of us who wants to feel safe. And that's why it's like there's anger, which is going on within, there is shame, which is going on within, and all of this turmoil of emotions that we feel like we cannot break free is just due to us trying to please the neighborhood, because that's how we were taught we would be safe. Except you now know that this is not true. That you're much safer being surrounded with people who know who you are. You're much safer advertising for who you are and vibing with people who love that, who love just that. So it's definitely a huge message coming through here, and a beautiful one, because it's like, whether you like it or not, it has already started. You are fed up. You are done with that. I can tell. You're so done with that. So it's happening now. But yeah, I feel as well that the monster is scarier when you don't look at it. As in, it may feel emotionally somewhat overwhelming at times, because there are a lot of emotions coming through relative to this topic. Allowing yourself to explore them, you will realize that it's not as overwhelming as it appears. The quote-unquote solution is actually much simpler than what it feels like at first. When we're not giving it our full attention, it just moves around like a scared little kid who is trying to catch an adult's attention. So it's screaming the loudest possible, and it's getting everyone tired and angry. But it's like when you give the little kid attention, you realize that actually the only thing they needed was attention, and that's it. There wasn't any actual problem for the kid to be shouting and crying. It was just the need for attention. And here I'm feeling that's the same thing, as in the only thing you need to pay attention to is the version of you who feels like the only way to be safer is to please this person, these people, whomever you are thinking about right now as I'm saying these words, and giving this attention to this little kid within, as in, you're safe, you know? You are safe. You don't need someone else to ensure your safety. Especially if that safety has to be traded for that. That's not safety. So yeah, definitely a big message. But yeah, giving that safety to this inner child, definitely something coming through here. I'm gonna be bringing up a few oracle cards now. I'm feeling like, yeah. But that is a very beautiful message, because there are a lot of beautiful things ahead of you. First of all, the first thing that you will realize is just how much you love yourself and how much you're proud and happy to be in your own presence daily. You will also notice a lot more energy, a lot more creativity, just being happier, you know? And yeah, much more love that will get reflected to you externally. But it's much simpler to love someone who loves themselves, if you know what I mean. So it starts with you, and with you being done trying to please the neighborhood. What do we got here? I like the colors for sure. Waning moon, new moon in Libra, full moon in Sagittarius. Well, it feels pretty self-explanatory at this point. What do you need to release? That's genuinely the question here, is all of this stress and anxiety that you're experiencing, that you observe your mind going in loops about. What is it indicating you? You can tell that your mind going in loops, like in a hamster wheel, having this insomnia, because your mind just cannot chill down because of how much anxiety it experiences. This anxiety is the failure of your mind to cope with emotions, pretty much. So honoring and acknowledging that the mind is struggling, okay, sure. What is it struggling with? Our emotions. What is it that your emotions are indicating you that needs to be released? The beautiful thing about the human body is that it tends to facilitate your work, honestly. Your body knows how to heal. You just need to give it the attention so as to allow it to do its job. It doesn't need you to do it. It just needs you to allow it to do it. It just needs your attention in order to do the work. So let your body tell you what to do, so to speak. Your body already knows what's going on, already knows where it has stored these emotions and what they're about. Your mind knows what's going on, your subconscious mind, I'm talking. If there is so much anxiety, allow the emotions to tell you what needs to be released. That's your question right now. Obviously, something needs to be released. What is it? Allowing yourself to be vulnerable with yourself? Allowing yourself to show yourself all the compassion in the world? What is it that can no longer continue? And these two cards are like, first of all, the colors, they just pinkish colors, definitely mirroring the heart chakra here. So yet again, it's very much focused on self-love, choosing ourselves instead of choosing others over us. That's what feels like the problem here. The fact that we've been choosing someone else over ourselves, hoping that doing so would bring us something like safety. And in untangling that, undoing that, there's definitely here the choosing ourselves feeling coming through. We feel much more in love with ourselves. We feel the warmth of choosing ourselves, and it feels so much better. It feels so good. But yeah, new in Libra, new romantic cycles begin. New romantic cycle begins. What to say about that? Yet again, falling in love with oneself and seeing it being reflected. When you love yourself, it's much more obvious for people to see what's lovable about you, if it makes sense. But it's more so about that, if you want something, you gotta feel it first. Why am I feeling like I have to explain that? There's a mind here in the middle. There's a lot of anxiety coming through, I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely the mind is trying to understand something so as to cope with its own anxiety. It's like, please tell your mind that it's okay if it feels, tell yourself, because your mind will, as good as it does, sometimes it's just not good at doing what it's not been designed for. Just understand that it's okay to feel anxious. It's okay not to have it all figured out. It's okay to have these questions on your mind. And it's okay to recognize that you don't understand it. These things you will know, you won't necessarily understand. The process is not mental. It's not about understanding something. I feel like some of you are trying to understand your way out of this situation. That won't happen. The process is about what you need to release, not what you need to understand. I think you understand more than enough about what's going on now. You are very aware of the situation. It's not about what needs to be understood, it's about what needs to be released. If I were to ask you, what's your problem? You would go on a tangent, and you would be explaining me for half an hour what is wrong, that this is not okay, this person did you wrong. It's like, you already know how you feel, you already know what's not going on well for you. You already know what it is in your life that you don't prefer. That's not about that. Please stop trying to understand past that point. This territory is not mental. This territory is emotional. What needs to be released is an attachment to an old experience. Definitely, it's old emotions that we haven't, an old heavy luggage that we haven't taken the time to empty. We're just carrying these old memories and these old beliefs, assumptions rather, which turn into beliefs, which turn into emotions. And now the mind is freaking out because it doesn't understand what's going on. But the mind will not understand what's going on anyway. So make yourself at peace with that. Accept the anxiety. Stop resisting the anxiety. I feel like that's a message for some. Be okay with the anxiety. It's okay sometimes to recognize that your anxiety is here to stay for as long as these emotions are dancing before your very eyes. Take care of your anxiety by taking care of what is provoking it, your emotions. And stop expecting your mind to figure it all out. Stop expecting your mind to understand it. That's not what it was designed for. It's not designed to figure it out. Your mind is only here to understand to try to understand stuff and experience what is happening, witness what is happening before your very eyes. That's all. That's all it's designed for. So when it comes to heart's matter, don't try to understand it. Yeah, the love will be reflected to you. Yes, people will fall in love with you. Romantically, platonically, you will have great friendships. All of that begins with you loving yourself. This is not something you can understand though. This is only something you can experience. This is only something that the mind can witness. What you need to release. You were born loving yourself, so it's not a question of learning and understanding how to love oneself. It's never been about that. If it was a matter of learning how to do that, don't you think you would have already learned it by now? Perhaps you were not taught how to love yourself. And so what? You were born loving yourself. It's not something that needs to be taught. Something that needs to be, you could argue, remembered. The mind would say it's something that needs to be remembered. Your higher self would just tell you it's something you need to stop resisting. What is it you need to release? And you will see the love unfold. There is nothing to explain beyond that point. You'll also understand why it happened. Look at the bigger picture. Definitely hear a big life lesson here for you. Part number 1. Big life lesson as in choosing oneself over someone else. It feels like it's a big thing. That may feel small to people around you, but it's actually very big for you. Not big in the sense that it's hard, not big in the sense that it's a mountain that no one can get over. Not at all. A big thing in the sense that it has a huge impact over your life. You choosing yourself over people around you will change your life in more ways than you may realize. But that is something for you to witness, not understand. And that's why your higher self is not going very well past beyond the point of self-love and just a lot of new relationships. That will change all areas of your life, not just your relationships. But the higher self is purposefully keeping it hidden so that your mind doesn't get in the way, so that your mind doesn't try to start understanding stuff that it anyways will not understand. Your mind can ask as many questions as it wants. It anyway cannot understand the answer. So be okay with it. Be okay with the discomfort and let yourself explore your vulnerability. That is a very powerful, very beautiful message. Thank you so much for having shared space with me today. I feel much needed. Honestly, I feel like many people here on this call really needed to hear that. Although, again, I feel that most of you already knew these things. You just needed, a little confirmation, a little nudge, as in, yup, you're on it. That's exactly what you need to be doing right now. Yup, you got this. So yeah. That was a lovely reading. That was an honor to be reading about your energy. That was beautiful. I loved it. Please let me know down in the comments how it went for you, if it resonated. What were your thoughts about it? Definitely lots of messages coming through here. So yeah, I'd love to know what came up for you. If you feel comfortable in your vulnerability, that is. Don't have to. But yeah, thank you so much. That was a lovely reading. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care of yourself, enjoy the ride, enjoy the exploration, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye. Well, hello there, Pile 2. How are you doing? You're up on stage. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you're ready for the message as much as I am. If part of you chose this beautiful Lapis Lazuli, That's gonna be your reading. So let's not waste any more time. You know the song. Let's get right into it. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one on the side. I've decided to keep them this time, not just for show. And you know what? I'm gonna even pull a second one for later. Oh, two other ones for later, I meant. Okay, let's see what we got. I get a very optimistic energy. I feel a challenge, but so much light and optimism. Oh my god, that feels good. What's going on, pile number 2? Higher selves. What's going on? This reading is obviously for us to better help connect with our higher selves. This non-temporal, very wise version of us, part of us rather, connecting with our wisdom, connecting with what we're meant to be hearing, connecting with what we're meant to be known, connecting with our center, with our heart. Let's get to it. Anand, well, what a way to start. We got the 6 of Pentacles, the King of Cups, we got the 7 of Wands, the Hermit, and the 2 of Cups, which just appeared for pile number 1 as well. Although here it has a different meaning, I can tell. What's going on, pile number 2? And 6. There's a rebirth you're going through, but I feel this is something that pile number 1 also had. The how to say, the motive of the rebirth is different than pile 1's though, but I feel that this rebirth theme is definitely going on here. Wouldn't be surprised if pile number 3 ends up to be about a rebirth as well. But I'm just getting, you know, like literal birth here. But Anand also depicts like cycles and circles. It's having, oh, I'm hearing, that's an interesting one. Your higher self is just so proud for all the work you've done. And you may not realize, whoop, the camera. I'm gonna take that as confirmation. You may not realize how much work you've been doing behind the scenes. Perhaps a lot of it was not necessarily thought, although, I mean, we know what's going on here. Pile number 2, you've been hard at work on it. Definitely, you've been hard at work. You've really been striving to go deep within yourself, discover more about yourself, and do the inner work. Get yourself to feel all of these emotions which have been meaning to come through, to come to the light. And there's just such a sense of pride from your higher self, as in, you've done so much more than what you realize actually. It's like, you know, you've done a lot, you know, you've been freaking determined to do it all because it didn't feel good at times to do it all. But all of the work you did actually is quite laughable compared to everything that went on, everything that happened. It's like you have done so much more than what you realize, and yet you feel like you've done a lot. And it's just like so impressed. Congratulations on that one, pile number 2. It's like you've been really purging a lot of stuff lately. And some of you, I feel like this is something which has been going on for years, possibly, although, yeah, I wouldn't go as far to say years for all of you. But yeah, there's just this feeling of such a pride for all the work you have done, although you wouldn't have observed the results of that straight away. You just kept on going because you cared about the way you felt more than anything else. And this is another thing that your higher self is so proud of, is your determination, your dedication to feeling good, your dedication to yourself, although you wouldn't have observed immediate results. You didn't observe immediate results, and yet you kept on going. That is something which is very remarkable, and something that, yeah, definitely congrats on that one. And here is just, well, you've been untangling so many cycles that you were part of before, and now you're literally rebirthing. And the funny thing is that I'm hearing that this rebirth has been going on for a long time, actually. It's just that it wasn't necessarily all that clearly reflected back to you because of many different things that I feel like there's no point in discussing. I'm not getting any specifics, but I just feel like it wasn't the right time for it to happen. That's just why. That's just the only why we're gonna get here. But it wasn't time for you to see the reflection straight away. So it's like you've been transforming for a long time, but you didn't really observe it. And now all of a sudden, there's a lot of backed up energy, which is unleashing all at once. And so there's a lot of changes that has been happening and a lot of stuff. I just feel like such an sweet sense of positivity happening. Six of Pentacles. I'm definitely feeling, first of all, when it comes to finances, that's perhaps a side message, but one that needs to be discussed still. Finances, your financial situation, if you felt the need of your financial situation improving, rest assured, it sure as hell will. Obviously, will take a different turn now, you know it. It will not improve just the way it is right now, because, yet again, you've learned your lessons. You know that it wasn't meant to be working this very way. That's why it hasn't. But yeah, your finances are definitely working out for you through changes, though. It's like, how can I express it more clearly? There's a change happening in your finances. It's like, yes, you're good because it's shifting, because it's no longer the way it used to be, which used to be less than what you desired, less than good. So that is something to say. But another thing is just a feeling of feeling comfortably calm, reaching a point where you're like, you feel that you just, yeah, you allow yourself to, you give yourself the permission slip to just chill, to just calm down, to just enjoy the moment. That is good. Yeah. I'm seeing you just enjoying the moment and chilling out and relaxing, although it may be a very active period of your life. These two are not necessarily contradictory, but I feel like no matter what is happening, you feel very calm and you feel very relaxed. And that is priceless. That is very good. King of Cups next to it is just emotional fulfillment. Just feeling so on top of it. Just feeling so good. Yet again, I feel yet again that it's not necessarily related to what's going on outside of you, although it's being mirrored. It's definitely shifting and changing before your very eyes. It's definitely, you're seeing why the hell we tell people to do the inner work. You understand it now. You're definitely seeing how your reality is shifting before your very eyes, and you're very grateful that you did it all, because you're realizing, oh my god, it's so much better. Thank god I didn't settle. Thank god I didn't settle for less than. The view is so much better now. But here is definitely this feeling of, I feel so good within. It's a pure joy to see everything around me shift and morph to better reflect who I am. But the thing which is the most enjoyable is the fact that I am at peace within myself. And that's what you are opening up to. Both your inner world, your inner world has been shifting for a very long time, but your outer world is reflecting this peaceful inner state, I feel. So that is beautiful. And yeah, this King of Cups just feels so surrendered and relaxed in its posture. I just see you and feel you so, like, if I had to picture you, I feel like you were running for a while. You had been running, like, oh my god, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, oh my god, I see this emotion, oh my god, there's this emotion that needs to be purged, oh my god, I feel this way, oh no, that's horrible, there's this thing now that I need to take care of, and just being all over the place for a while, completely losing sight of what you wanted to do. And now it's just like, now everything seems to be in order. It's like, no, emotions still rise up, it's like, you're alive, baby, that's not gonna end till the day you leave this world. That the point of it is not for it to end. It's just that you feel so much happier. It's just yeah, you feel such a deep sense of surrenderedness, knowing that all is good. And that, yeah, any emotion coming up, any challenge coming up is just an opportunity for you to feel even better. It's always happening in your highest interest. And yeah, definitely this strong sense of just being surrendered and being at peace. That is beautiful. Seven of Wands, interesting one. I feel that in the past you may have been fighting for your recognition. You may have been fighting for people to see how valuable you are. You may have been fighting to protect some dreams of yours that perhaps you feel like people would be tempted to tear down. And now it's just like you're shining in a new light, and the entire energy is shifting here again. It's like all of a sudden, all of these branches that were trying to mess with us, they're just getting shattered by our light, by just how bright we shine. We're just not giving a fluff about it anymore. And no one can touch us anymore. So that is beautiful. But yeah, strong sense of self-confidence coming through as well. And now the Hermit and the Two of Cups. The Hermit is both referring to this period of seeming isolation that you have experienced. Although you may not have been completely isolated per se, you may have felt this way because of all of the work you were doing, basically, all of this emotional work. But I feel like you've just discovered so much about yourself. You've just discovered so many treasures. And yet again, here now, the world is starting to reflect, your life is starting to reflect all of these acquired treasures in a way that really feels good. Because perhaps before you may have been learning one lesson after another and you didn't really take time to celebrate or enjoy everything that you had learned along the way. Because as soon as you would have been done with one emotion, another would rise, you know? So perhaps you didn't take really the time to really see all the treasures you had unearthed, and now I generally see you like through a much calmer state, through the world reflecting a much calmer period of your life, a much calmer chapter. You're really starting to see how bright you shine in all the treasures that you have unearthed, and you're realizing, oh my god, I had my head so deep into it that I obviously didn't see everything I was doing. But now that I'm getting to a place that feels much better, much more calm, and I actually take the time to see everything which has been happening, I realize that there is so much gold beneath my feet now. That feels good. And the Two of Cups just feels like, yeah, such a fluttery, flowy, beautiful energy of inner peace, definitely. That's something which is coming strongly here. But also peace between you and you and your environment, you and other people. I just feel like things are just flowing in such an easier way now. Perhaps before it felt challenging, perhaps it still feels a little challenging now, but the energy of this card is very much like everything feels to be flowing perfectly. And that is beautiful. Honestly, I love that. It just feels like flowing exactly where it needs to, and just us being so happy. Yeah, just us feeling so relaxed, so calm, so happy. I'm seeing you on a hammock, just enjoying your time. That is beautiful. That is very, very beautiful. Okay, that being said, Oracle cards time now. We got Perchance to Dream, Envious Gluttony, Naked Before the Stars. What an interesting combo of cards. it kind of gives me a bit of background with the quote-unquote challenges, or rather emotions, that came up for you. Some of them may have been feeling, yeah, very... You may have felt some things very strongly. So it's good that it's been coming up for you to release, so that at least we're done with that. Can move on to new things. But it feels like you've been releasing a lot of stuff that you were walking with, so that is beautiful. One thing I'm seeing for sure is perchance to dream. You've been reconnecting with your heart and your desires, but in a non-mental way. Perhaps before it would have been a little bit about, oh my god, I have such big dreams and I have no clue how I'm gonna figure it out, and I don't know, and I feel stressed and it just makes me feel bad. And now it's rather like, I just have faith in myself that if it's in my heart, it's going to happen. It's going to show itself at some point. Perhaps it's not now, perhaps it doesn't need now. It doesn't need to now, but I know it will happen. I know that the opportunity will come. I have faith in my heart, in myself, that if it's in my heart, it will end up showing itself at some point. It's, I feel like, such a simpler way to look at life, such a simpler way to consider one's heart. And it feels completely free from heaviness, free from the struggles of the mind trying to figure it out. So that's a very beautiful thing. Reconnecting with one's heart, not expecting the mind to figure it out. Because guess what? The mind won't figure it out. That's not its job, but that's higher mind's job, not the physical mind's. Envious gluttony. That's an interesting one. I feel like there was a lot of... I mean, whenever I see this card, it just feels quite dreadful. Like, the imagery is quite striking, not gonna lie. A lot of envy. A lot of, but you know, the kind of envy that turns to poison and that just starts, turns to acid, turns to poison, just feels like it's destroying us from within. And which I guess is quite related to the first card as well, because it's always about our dreams. We're seeing a dream, we're seeing something which is experiencing that which we dream of, which is experiencing that which is already in our hearts, but instead of being inspired and excited by it because we're recognizing ourselves within it, we feel envy because we're resisting it. The envy is the excitement of recognizing oneself in a desire, plus the belief that you could not have it. That's when envy appears. From an excitement, it turns to envy because we are convinced it cannot happen, because there are inner blockages, quote unquote, for a multitude of different reasons. Everyone's story is different, especially, and everyone's desires are different, so the way you may be resisting them obviously will be different. But it kind of ties into the first card, is all of this work you've been doing. Oh my god, I feel it. It's so exciting. It's like, I feel like you've been clearing the way for your dreams. You've been having some wild dreams that to some may not feel so big, but to you seem big because they go way against that which you were taught. Perhaps it goes against the grain of what is commonly believed in the environment you were born in. It's like, I generally feel that for some of you it may be about big dreams. For some of you it just maybe seem big to you, and that's all that matters really. It just feels so far away from everything you have ever been identified to. That's why it's that much more exciting, and that's why it feels that much more impossible at first. That's why envy, this very strong envy that would turn to very strong acid and poison within, would show up. And I'm happy to report that this is definitely changing, in the sense that through this letting go of these old emotions, letting go of these past limitations and past beliefs, you're opening yourself up to exploring these dreams. You're allowing these dreams to take shape and to take form, to take shape, which definitely goes back to here. All of a sudden, we're believing in our dreams yet again. We understand that we won't figure it out because, yes, our dreams are so big, they're so beautiful, and that's amazing. But perhaps it feels a little intimidating to the mind because the mind has been developing in an environment that was very far from our dreams. So the mind has no freaking clue of how to get there. That's okay. That's not the point for your mind for your physical mind to get there. That's a clear message from your higher mind. It's your higher mind's job to do that. That's why your physical mind cannot do it. Redundancy has no point in nature. There is no redundancy. Why would the physical mind be tasked with figuring it out when this function is already showed elsewhere? Your higher self knows how to get there, and it communicates through you through excitement, through little nudges. The door will open when it will. And it will. That's the whole point. That's the realization that you've been having or are coming to. It's the door will open. Perhaps it's not time right now because it doesn't need, because there is no need for it right now. Perhaps your dream is beautiful. It's not a question of waiting. It's just a matter of perhaps it's not the right time right now. But it's not a no. It's just right now there's something even more exciting for you to experience. Have fun with that, whatever is happening. And you will quickly realize that, yeah, the door will open after. You will then realize that no, it wasn't a matter of waiting for the door to open. It's just a matter of experiencing life. Yeah, there were other things that were much more relevant for you to experience first. That's why it didn't open till then. But it will open. Why? Because it's in your heart. Higher mind, the higher self wouldn't have put it in your heart, wouldn't have communicated it to you if it wasn't bound to happen. The higher mind knows. That's why it has been communicating it. And that's where this card comes through. It's naked before the star. I just love this card, especially in this context. Even more in this context, it's like it's just being nude in front of yourself, in the sense, metaphorically meaning being brutally honest with yourself, being brutally honest with your dreams and what you desire. Is like, oh yeah, these dreams feel so big and perhaps very intimidating because of the way you were raised, because of what you were taught to believe. Okay, doesn't take away the fact that they're there. Doesn't take the fact that this is what you freaking desire. And so it's bound to happen because you desire it. Perhaps it's not someone else's desire. This desire is yours. That's why it's going to happen for you, not for them. But it's really coming to this point of just, yeah, being naked in front of a mirror and just seeing yourself. It's like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I desire. This is what I am. And this is what my life will be. And it just feels so exciting. My God, you have no idea. The physical mind sure has no idea of how exciting it is. That's the optimism I was picking up immediately. It's like, you have no clue what's ahead of you, and that is the most beautiful part because you're just walking into it with such an innocent, ignorant face. It's like, oh, I don't know, but oh my God, my heart still aches a little bit. Like, my God, hon, if you only knew what your higher mind's is throwing you into, you would cry tears of joy. So yeah, I'm so excited for it to happen. And I don't even feel like picking up other oracle readings, and I think we're gonna leave it there because everything that needed to be said just got said. So yeah, thank you so much for having shared space with me today. That was an awesome reading. I'm so excited for you. It was an honor to be reading your energy. That was beautiful. Please let me know down in the comments how it went for you. I'd love to read about your thoughts. I'd love to know if it resonated, what came up for you during this reading. I'd love to read about it. Or if you feel like it, obviously. But yeah, I wish you to enjoy it all, to enjoy the last strands of transformation that you may be experiencing and ready yourself up for the amazing stuff which is about to unfold. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm hearing that from your higher self. It's like, oh my God, you have no remote idea of what's about to happen. You're going in expecting something mundane. My God. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, I wish you to enjoy it all. I wish you to be patient with yourself, offer yourself all the love and the compassion you need, and to ready yourself for that which you will not be expecting anyway. So be okay with that, be ready for it. And yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. So yeah, take care. Bye. Hey, the pan number 3, how are you doing? You're up on stage. I hope you're comfortable. I hope that you're ready for this message, excited as much as I am. If Arthur, if you chose this beautiful Labradorite heart, that's gonna be your reading. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. Okay, as I said for the other piles, I think we're gonna keep this card. I was planning on just using them for, presentation purposes for the pile selection. But I think we're gonna keep it. And another interesting thing about your group, I don't know why, but I feel like not picking up more than 3 tarot cards. Like the other readings were very tarot heavy, but yours feels so much more, I want to almost say like artistic, that I feel like tarot, the structure of tarot doesn't suit the reading at all. So you only have 2 cards. Okay. Justice and the 6 of Cups. I guess it makes sense. And we're gonna draw a few oracle cards immediately straight off the bat. To me, oracle cards are much more intuitive when it comes to reading, because when it comes to tarot, the thing that little story time, the thing that took me a long time to embrace tarot. I've been reading oracles for a few years, but tarot is very recent, because I was not so much looking forward to learning the structure of tarot. There's a lot of structure, every card has its energy, it's like, it's very codified in a sense. You have to learn the codes of the tarot, the ways of the tarot, and I guess it makes perfect sense. I'm gonna keep it for later. But oracle cards on the other way, they're much more intuitive. There is no actual structure. Every deck is created a little bit the way the author wants it. So it's much more up for interpretation. And since I'm much more of an intuitive reader, oracles used to suit me much better. But for your, it's like, yeah, it's like there's something about your energy that is just calling me to, you know what, let's have fun. Let's not read tarot. It's too much of a structure for this reading, for this energy. It doesn't suit you at all. You boop the camera. Doesn't suit that energy at all. That being said, while I'm shuffling a little cards, there's a fight between heart and mind here, and the mind which is being fought for is not yours, it's someone else's. Because, let me get straight to the point. Your energy feels so good. I'm not, first of all, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna be real. It feels very good. It feels awesome. It feels very intuitive. It feels anything but structure. That's why, it's like, all the reading is like, yeah, I'm gonna bring out the tarot here. It's like, keep the tarot out. It's like, we don't need the tarot here. We don't want the tarot. It's like, it feels so simple, so good. It feels so fluid, and it feels so true. It just feels true to one's heart. That's the energy I'm getting. And there's definitely this invitation. Like, I can tell that this has been the process. You are someone who is, it's like your energy is, well, I was about to say so much needed in this world at this point in time, especially for how mental our kin has been these last centuries. But besides that, it's just like, your energy is just such a ray of sunshine. It's like, my God, it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful because it is so simple. It's just an open heart. It's so simple that there is no space for BS. There is no space for worry. There is no space for these things. Like, it's too pure and simple for the negativity to settle. I hope it makes sense. But that's why it's like, it just feels so good. It feels like an open heart. And, this is who you are, and this is what you're coming back to. Because there has been many lessons learned around worrying, anxiety, the mind going havoc, limiting beliefs, all that jazz that we enjoy as humans. There's been a lot of work with that. It's like, Justice and the Six. Yeah, these two cards is just like, to me, the entrance door, getting out of the mind and settling back in the heart. Yeah, by the way, the mind is not supposed to govern one's life. Just gonna put it straight. The higher self, the higher mind, knows everything which is going to happen. The higher mind is the one guiding you, is the one telling you, do this. Because I know that this is what's gonna lead you to where you want to go. This is what's gonna lead you to your happy place. That's why I'm inspiring you through excitement to do this. I'm exciting you with what I'm telling. The way I'm telling it to you is through excitement, because I know that you will enjoy doing that then. I get you excited about something that just happens to build up your happy place, to get you there, to get you to happy encounters and everything. The higher mind doesn't communicate through the mind, through the physical mind. I'm going to start using higher mind and physical mind so as to differentiate them. And that's a lot of things. Like, part 3, we've definitely been making the experience of living life through the mind, because this is what was expected. It was expected to be worrying. It was expected to be fearful. It was expected to be afraid of not having enough money. It was expected to belittle oneself, to make oneself smaller, to fit other people's insecurities. It was expected to play the game of the mind. It was expected to play the game of society, and perhaps the place you were born in was a very mental place, as in very disconnected from one's heart, very disconnected from the truth. You've been making this experience, and that's what we're getting out of here. Justice with the sword. In tarot, the sword is the mind, amongst a few other things, obviously, but definitely the sword. And it's just like, I see you holding the sword and the scale. It's like, yes, the mind is a fantastic tool, but it is a fantastic tool for as long as you understand what it is designed for as long as you put it in its right place. Please don't try to use a hammer to cook pasta. It's probably not gonna work out in your favor. A hammer is not meant to be used for cooking. The mind is not used to figure out your life. Your mind is not used to live your life through it. Your mind is a fantastic tool for as long as you use it for what it's been designed for. And you are in the process of putting it back in where it belongs. That's definitely what it feels like here. The Justice card. It's time to put an end to this collective madness. It's time. I feel there's a lot of anger, but very healthy form of anger. It's like it feels angry, but it feels so empowering. It feels like it's the right thing to do. It's like, it feels angry to be part of a collective mad society. People believing that their minds, people going around running in hamster wheels, people being so stressed out about all things ridiculously insignificant. Just the collective craziness. And it's like, I don't want to be part of it. Life is not meant to be lived through this madness. This is sheer madness. And I'm putting an end to it because I understand that the mind needs to be put where it belongs. And it needs to stay there. Although you were obviously, through your upbringing, led to believe that no, you are your mind. You're supposed to worry. You're supposed to let your mind run havoc. You're supposed to give your mind the job of figuring it out. You're supposed to give your mind the job of knowing everything which is going to happen. Guess what? Your mind cannot do that. That's higher mind's job. There are no redundancies in this world. Your higher mind knows that. That's why your higher mind is guiding you through excitement, through many different means. Your physical mind cannot do that. Your physical mind's job, your primary physical mind's job, is to offer you an experience on this planet. That's it. That's pretty much it. You can be using your mind to many other things, but definitely not as many as you were taught, as we were taught. You know, it's like our society runs this way, but it doesn't take a genius to see that it doesn't work. Oh yeah, people are depressed, burnt out, people are sick. It's like, well, who wonders why now? It's just like, yeah, there's this anger of saying, you know what, I'm gonna put it back to its place. I'm gonna put the sword back where it belongs. I'm gonna stop like giggling with this with the sword, playing with the sword, trying to cook pasta with the sword. It's like, no, this sword is only has a few purposes and that's it. And I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't need it right now. I'm gonna bring it out when I need it. Only when I need it. That's it. And that is a very powerful move, and one that will obviously be triggering people around you, but I generally feel that you don't care, you don't give a fluff about that, and that is good. And the Six of Cups is what gets us into the energy that I was picking up on immediately. It's the remembering. The Six of Cups is the, you know what, I'm just gonna honor my truth. And what is my truth? Well, my inner child knows. My inner child is the part of me that doesn't understand why grown-ups are agitating their swords in the air, pretending to be someone, pretending to be winning a race that they are the only ones to perceive. It doesn't really make sense, does it? No, it doesn't. It never did. And the inner child knows that. And that's where we're really sinking into the heart space. And as I say that, I feel my heart, my own heart, my physical heart, I mean, like aching a little. And I'm like, yeah, definitely. The heart has been put on the side for way too long. I feel that a lot of you may have been considering this idea of coming to a point where we have been so indoctrinated. I hope that's a word in English as well. Wait. We've been fed over and over and over the same thing. That's what I meant by indoctrinated, in case it's not a word. I'm gonna figure it out after. We've been fed this idea that you are a mind, that you're supposed to figure it all out with your mind, to the degree that we don't understand anymore what's the point of having a heart. We don't understand what's the point of the feminine, because the masculine governs the mind, but we don't understand why it exists. It's like, why it's there. Well, your experience on this planet is emotional. That is something that you're very well aware of. So if you deny your emotions, you're basically denying the whole point of being here in the first place. And that's where we get in this very flow energy. It's like, at heart, this is who you are. You are love. You are you're love, you're energy, you are light. And the mind is a fun tool, is a fun soul to be playing with for as long as it stays this way. A fun soul to play with sometimes. That's it. New Moon in Libra is definitely giving me this feeling of being in love with oneself once again. And the once again is important. It's remembering. Six of Cups is definitely remembering that this is how it was meant to be. This is how you came in. This is how you came in this world. And this is, back then, everything felt so simple. And now everything is difficult. Is it because it's difficult to be an adult? No, it's because we just grow up with a lot of limiting beliefs. We pick up a lot of responsibilities and now everything has to be difficult, right? No, it's a choice for it to be difficult. Responsibilities do not have to be difficult, do not have to be heavy, unless that's what you're taught they are. Responsibilities can be exciting. Ooh, I get to choose even more of what I want. I get to be the one choosing for even more stuff that is happening in my life. How exciting is that? Oh no, it means that you have many more limits. Oh no, it means that you have so much more weight. Depends on how you look at it. Depends on what you let your mind do. But here, there's definitely this feeling of remembering how it was. How simple it was intended to be, and how simple it's always been. How simple it is today still, when we take the time to put the mind to the side. With these oracle cards here, and we're going to be bringing a few more, obviously, since that's on brand. Black flower fragrance, there you go, triumph of lies, and the child was meant to be. There's definitely been a lot of work around limiting beliefs here in your life. It's definitely something that you've been doing. You've been working with lies. You've been fed lies with like like everyone. It wasn't maliciously intended. You were not fed lies because people wanted to mess with you. Perhaps they wanted, who knows. But the point is, they probably didn't know any better, so, you know, there's not much more to be mad at for people. They themselves didn't know any better. They themselves didn't know what the heck a heart is here for. Oh yeah, it pumps blood in the body. Okay, and they just didn't know any better. And you've been contemplating these lies and just catching them in delight as in, hey, you're a lie, you're not true, wait a minute. Black flower fragrance is, to me, is very much this energy of purging, letting it all out, like throwing up the darkness, just purging the heart and letting it all get out. And here we're definitely talking about lies, definitely talking about all the beliefs, the assumptions that we made, that we picked up along the way, which added one after another, made it impossible for us to simply enjoy who we are, to enjoy our heart. Our heart was chained left, right, bottom, and center, up and down, left and right, chains all over the place through because of all of these lies, all of these assumptions, all of these beliefs. No, you cannot do that. No, you cannot do this. No, this is not possible. And little by little, you have been uncovering all of these lies, and now you're just sinking back into this version of you, not in the sense that you are becoming more immature. That's not the point at all. It's more that you are integrating this purity within you. You are embracing that, yes, you have learned much, and I definitely feel that your higher self is coming in through with this one. There was a purpose in you getting entangled in all of that. It wasn't just to mess you up. You've become an expert at uncovering lies, for one thing, and for another, it's very important for you to understand this thing with the mind because of the world we're evolving in. And I wouldn't be surprised if it has a lot to do with your purpose here on this planet, to be playing with the mind instead of being its servant. So I genuinely feel that all of these things with these lies and these limitations, there was a big purpose behind that. Something that will make itself much more obvious as time passes. You will realize that, yeah, you feel, I feel the sense of you feeling so empowered in this world because you are operating from there, but you totally understand this. You totally understand. You're not debilitating when people are operating from the mind, when people are doing weird stuff, when people are not acting in your best interest, in their own best interest, in the best interest of the world. It's not something that scares you anymore. It's not something that you feel threatened by, that you feel powerless towards, because you completely understand it. It's something that you've already seen over and over and over again. It's something you've been exploring within yourself. It has given you the mastery of the mind and the understanding of what's going on in our world today. There's definitely this sense, I'm generally feeling this excitement within you. It's like, we're gonna get back to this because I'm not done with that, but there is this form of excitement of yours. I can tell that you are very intelligent, that your mind is brilliant. You have a brilliant mind, a very intelligent mind, but it was very important for you to, I'm hearing the word refine the mind. I'm not sure that's the best way to describe it, but understand what the heck is a mind and why things are the way they are. Yes, when you understand how a mind operates, independently of what's going on in the world, you better understand why the world is the way it is today. It gives you a sense of awareness of our current condition as humans that very few have. And as such, it gives you a lot more power over being able to do something about it. Because you cannot change something you're not aware of. But if you see clearly what's going on, because you've yourself had the experience of it, then now you're completely able to do something about it. You can play with it. You play with the mind. You dance with the mind. You fool the mind, not the opposite, not the other way around. And that's definitely something that you're going to be enjoying in your life, I feel. If that's not something you've already been experiencing, perhaps you were more in this phase before, it's definitely something that is going to be very relevant for you in this lifetime. your ability to play and have fun with the mind, where other people would completely freak out because they wouldn't understand what's going on. So that's one thing to why it happened. One of the reasons to why it happened. Perhaps some of you had questions about that, so that came through. But besides that, it's just you rediscovering your natural state here. The child was meant to be who you were before you were told who you should be. And just coming back to this very flowy, intuitive nature of yours. This state that feels so good. It feels so simple. It feels so natural. It feels so effortless. And life just reflects it then. So that is awesome. I love that. I'm gonna pick up another oracle card. My god, many messages came through today. Gonna take these two. Oh, this one wants actually to be seen. Okay. Back of the deck, energy, patience. I feel that a lot of it may not make sense still. Can we see the word patience at the bottom? Yeah, there we go with the glare a little bit. Anyway, patience. I feel that this process may feel a little heavy as it is unfolding because you are exploring all of the shit which the mind got entangled in. So obviously when it comes out, well, it smells like shit because it is. So it's not necessarily the most pleasant experience. But I'm feeling that all of this process and what it's leading you into, you just sinking and anchoring into your truth, recentering, regrounding into who you actually are. You're gonna first of all realize that it was completely worth it. But another thing is, be patient with the process, be patient with yourself. You can feel it already. All of these beautiful energies emanating from within. You can already tap into that. You can already feel this. And the more time will pass, the more you will feel it, obviously. For the fewer clouds will stand in the way. But what was I saying? Yeah, just patience with yourself. Because although you would like to be at your finish line immediately, there is a lot of value, a lot of gold, a lot of treasures for you to have within this, the exploration of the mind, the exploration of the lies. Yes, I know it's a little upsetting along your nose, just like, I'd like to be done with it already, please. I run my lessons, please. Why are you sending me another one, please? I get it. It will make sense later, and you won't regret it, trust me. It will be well worth it, but yet again, just understand, coax your mind and into understanding that no, this is not happening to you, it's not to mess you up. There is a big reason to why it's happening, and you will realize that, yeah, you will feel it at the end of this, not at the end of the road, at the end of this process, where you will feel like you're ahead of most of us, simply because you will see through things that a lot of us don't. And that's why you will realize that it was well worth it. So yeah, be patient with yourself. If it doesn't feel good right now, be patient with yourself. The not feeling good is good in the sense that it's coming up to the surface, it's being let go of. The cards, wait, there are 3. I thought there were 2. Okay. We got Reclaim, Reflect, and Fate. Reclaim, well, reclaiming what's yours. Straight up. That one came through so naturally. Reclaiming what's yours. Reclaiming, sorry for the camera. Reclaiming who you are. Reclaiming your truth. Just putting to the side all of these clouds, all of these lies that we've been exploring. That's why we're not mad at the fact that they were here. We have learned so much in the process, and so we're so much wiser, and so excited to play, to have fun with that in the world, but we're reclaiming still who we are. Sure, it's fun, sure, it's interesting, sure, it opens you many doors. It doesn't take away the fact that that is not who you are intrinsically. That is. And you're reclaiming that. The more time passes, the more you're sinking your ground into this, into your truth. And as such, you continue this exploration from a much more grounded state. You realize that you're not the mind, and so when these clouds pass, you understand that you're not them. You're just looking at them. It doesn't affect you anymore. Reflect. It's definitely giving me, especially with this card, Reflection Fate, definitely giving me like a strong sense of your purpose here on Earth. I'm trying to put the glare so you can see a little bit more of the gold foiled images on the cards. But it's definitely giving me the vibe of, yes, this is something that you're not meant, I wouldn't say meant to experience, because this is just your natural state. So you're meant to experience your natural state. I mean, yes, thank you, Sherlock. It's something that you're meant to be experiencing your life from this state. This is your roots. These are your roots. This is your foundation. This is who you are. But all of that which you've been exploring for these past years, I feel like, which have made you feel like you were off course, where you didn't necessarily recognize yourself, this has a lot to do with your purpose yet again. Like, you're here to play a huge role in the world. First of all, I'm realizing that this is something that came up very early in the reading, if I remember correctly. But first of all, inspiring the world is energy, inspiring the remembrance, and second of all, just, yeah, there's a lot. It could be expressing itself through so many different ways, really, but there's a lot of emphasis with your clairvoyance, you seeing through the lies, you seeing through the mind games, because you understand it. You know what's going on within the mind. You know how a mind functions, even if only intuitively. You know how it works, and as such, you are capable of doing a lot of things that a lot of people are not capable of, because you're aware of much more, you see much more. But this could be expressing itself through so many different ways. It could be, I don't know, at the top of my head, it could be like being a psychologist, literally. It could be being a CEO and just being such a good leader, because you have the vision, because you are coming through from this energy and making huge waves in the world. It could be so many things. It could be anything. It's not really related to your career path. That's what I'm getting at. It's much more just about who you are and how you're expressing yourself in this world through whichever you're doing. But yeah, clairvoyance, definitely. And just, yeah, gifting this world with a beautiful treasure. So yeah. What a reading. That was an awesome reading. Thank you so much for having shared space with me today. This reading was much lengthier than the other ones, but you know, the right amount of time for all the messages that came through. It was an honor to be reading your message, your energy. That was beautiful. Felt intense because there was a lot. Please let me know down in the comments how it went for you, if it resonated, what you thought. A lot has come through this reading. Also, would you please, it's coming through, but am I talking too fast? Please let me know. When I start channeling, oftentimes, since I'm channeling frequencies, frequencies do not exist in time and space, so it's more like instantaneous, and trying to catch up with it makes me speak very fast. I don't know how comprehensible that is, though. And I don't have a lot of feedback on that, so please let me know if you think I'm speaking too fast or if it's just the right pace. I don't know, really. That's why I'm asking you. But yeah, feel free to drop a comment if you feel like it. That being said, enjoy the ride. That's the only thing I can tell you. Enjoy the ride, have fun with it, and yeah, rest assured, your higher self gotcha, so no worries on that. You're doing fantastic. Keep going. I'm very proud of you. So is your higher self. So is your spirit team. And I'm gonna be seeing you in my next video. Till then, have a good one. Take care. Bye.